Hi, Sharon. Although we've just been talking a minute ago. Hi again.
Hello, hello.
So happy to see your face tonight. It's lovely and it's so funny. I'm in the north and Sharon's in the south, and we've just been comparing weather. So let us know in the comments if your weather is cold and northern like mine or warm and summery like yours.
Boiling hot,
Amazing,
boiling
isn't
hot.
it? We're,
Yeah.
we're not that far away from each other. I mean, 4 hours or so, but we're in the same country.
Comparable to other countries, we're only a skip and a jump away, aren't we,
Well,
really?
yeah, this is it. We're sort of smaller than a state, aren't we, in some
Yeah.
cases? And yeah, it's wild. So we've already had a chat about how we are, but you said you had something you want to tell me, and I've got something to tell you. What were we going to talk about
What was I
before?
going to tell you? Oh, I can't remember. Oh, I don't know. I don't know now.
Maybe you already did tell me. I don't know. Well,
I
I want to
don't
ask
know.
you if you read any T. Kingfisher books. Serious
Yes, I
question.
love T. Kingfisher.
Do
Yeah,
you know
it's very.
what?
Do you like
I'm
it?
so I'm so into it. Her writing is so beautiful
It
and
is.
funny. I'm just absolutely enthralled by it.
She
It's
has
amazing.
yeah, her writing's really beautiful. So it's just kind of yeah, and I haven't read anything by her. I don't think that I haven't liked.
Does she write some
So
fantasy as well? Because I
she
think what
does.
put me off
Yeah,
is I
yeah.
saw fantasy and went, "Oh, I don't really read much fantasy," but I
But
think
she
I need
started
to
off like
grow
writing
on.
very kind of gothic fiction in a way.
Okay.
I think fiction can be kind of have a very gothic vibe to it. And she started off with that, as far as I know. I mean, I may be wrong. Somebody else might be able to let us know. But yeah, I've always even a fancy I've enjoyed. So yeah,
I
I'm
mean,
glad
maybe
you're
it's a good way
enjoying
to.
it.
Yeah, and do you know what? It's not normally, where there's one person in horror. I sometimes get a bit bored when they're not talking to many people, but it's so compelling. She's got a dog, and just the inner monologue of the character is so funny. Like, weird things are starting to happen, and the stuff she tells herself is just so relatable. She's like
Yeah.
at the minute, she's trying to talk herself out of it, and it's like, we're fine. I just need to clean my grandma's house and get out of here. Like, and she just seems like a person I want to be friends with, the main character. It's awesome. I'm a bit scared though because I feel like there's bad things coming.
There is, but there is, but I think that I like that kind of monologue kind of point of view sometimes. I think it's interesting because the way she's trying to convince herself is exactly how we would be, wouldn't we? If
Yeah,
something weird happened, we'd be like, "Oh, it's just the blinky. It's the cat, or it's the kid, or it's
yeah.
something." You'd try and rationalize it, wouldn't you?
She hears eerie tapping and she's like, woodpecker, gotta be. It sounds a bit
Or
weird
the
for a woodpecker,
pipes. The
but
pipes are going.
yeah,
I
it's an old
we'd be the
house.
same. We'd be the same, wouldn't we? So I think that's kind of
Yeah.
interesting. I'm reading at the moment. I know you've already read it.
Oh, yes. Oh, what do you think so far?
Now I've already read this. I read it as a very badly formatted arc,
Okay.
which is why I wanted to read it again. I'm really enjoying it, and this is very similar from the point of view, as you know, of an 8-year-old girl. It's very fast paced. But actually, it's not so much the other mother who is terrifying. Let's be honest. It's not that. The psychological trauma of family dysfunction in this is brilliant because her
It
parents
is.
are awful, awful people. They are
Yeah, and
awful.
I wasn't sure if I could cope with it for that reason, but the way it's done feels quite sensitive and careful and real, I
Yeah,
think. I think you can tell when an author really knows, like, I know I'm dealing with trauma here, and I know I'm dealing with a
yeah.
really damaged child, and this is why this entity has been able to,
Latch onto her.
yeah, because that is how she's been raised or not raised in some ways. But yeah, that book, I found it really chilling and that creepy feeling all the way through. But are you at
Yeah.
the bathroom yet?
Yes. I've just got to that. I think I'm
Oh,
just getting to that. Where have I got to? I've just got to the bit. Actually, I haven't got to the bathroom, I don't think yet. I've just got to the bit where they are meeting up with Lois Duncan and her
okay.
people, to try and get an exorcism or whatever. But I just love that kind of very innocent point of view of a child juxtapositioned against the real psychologically damaging trauma that's going on around her. So it's just brilliant. The adults are useless in this. The
Yeah,
child's
they
the
really
brave
are.
one. Yeah.
Yeah, and
And
they just don't know what to do. Like they've not watched enough horror movies. Like they just
no,
look around, don't they, and go, "We
we'd be
think our
fine,
child's
wouldn't
bad."
we? We'd be fine,
Yeah,
you and me. But it's just like,
honestly,
but at
we
the same
get it
time,
done.
the parents, although they are kind of neglectful, certainly, and weird, there's no kind of malice in them. It's not. There's not. They're not doing it maliciously. They just don't seem to. They're so involved in their own lives they can't help the child. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, it's
Yeah.
interesting to me. It's interesting. But yeah, I had a really badly formatted arc that I kind of trundled through, but it was really hard and it was all out of sync. So that's why I bought it.
Yeah, because it relies a lot on the layout, that book, I think, doesn't it? And it
Yeah.
tells you at the beginning, this is laid out in a specific way because it's the point of view of a child. So I think I read a Grady Hendrix one that was like that. Is it Final Girl Support Group that's got some
Yes.
mixed media in it?
Which I didn't
And I
like.
read an arc of it. Oh my
It's the
goodness.
only
I
one of
read
his
an
I
arc
didn't
of it.
like. Yeah, I didn't like it.
Have you read Witchcraft for Wayward Girls?
Loved it. Best one he's ever written.
Oh, you see, I'm struggling with it. And I think it's the subject matter of the treatment of the young women. I'm just finding it
Yes.
hard to get past. Like, I don't know, everything else is being overshadowed. Like, I think I can tell the characterization is brilliant and
Yeah.
his use of like witchcraft history and everything, but the treatment of them, I know that that's the point, but I think maybe that bit isn't for me.
And it's
You know what I
it's
mean?
based on a true story. When you get to the
Yeah.
end, you'll find out that he spoke to people had actually lived through this.
Yeah, it's
And I think
horrendous.
the witchcraft part of it, I think, is kind of the wrong title for the book, really, because the witchcraft the title is interesting, but the real horror is other people in that book.
Yeah, it
The
is. And
real
I
horror
think
is the other people. Yeah.
I went on Goodreads out of curiosity just to see what views on it were because I thought, I bet this one's quite polarizing, and it does seem
Yeah.
to be. You either give it 5 stars or 1 star. And actually, I feel more in the middle with it because I just know it isn't the book's fault. It's the subject matter for me is a bit too
Yeah.
intense.
And I think it's the same with this one. This is quite polarizing. People, and it's because of the way it's set out and
Yeah.
the voice of a child. Just people either really love it and really understand what it's trying to do, or they just don't get it. And it's just that her voice is annoying. Right. So, and I think perhaps, and this one tends to be very age appropriate. Do you know, I think if you're an older person who's been around children, you kind
Yes.
of are much more understanding. A younger person just finds a younger person annoying because that's what it's like when you're young, isn't it?
Yeah, and I
So,
think if you
yeah,
haven't been around a kid as well, to know how authentic the way she thinks
yeah,
and the way she talks, like some of the stuff she said, because is she 7 or 8 years old?
8, yeah,
Yeah,
8,
and I've got a bright 5-year-old, so I was kind of drawing comparisons and like just the speech patterns and the thinking and like a child's logic, a child like she's almost thinking about, I could let this entity in just to
yeah.
kind of save everyone else because she's got that child's wholesome
She's so
goodness.
brave. To her whole life revolves around her family. It's a pure, simple love for her mom and her daddo and her auntie and her grandmother Ruth. It's just completely pure. And then you've got the other side of it where the parents are completely selfish. And it's fascinating to me. Although I found it funny too when she was talking about, she was trying to say reincarnation, but she didn't know the word. So she was talking about carnations.
Oh
And her
yeah.
parents thought they were talking about flowers.
Yeah.
And I found that really, that's exactly what a kid would do.
Yeah,
And
it is.
so
And kids latch
I'm really
onto stuff
enjoying it.
like, yeah, we've had conversations where Nathan's convinced that something is a thing. This is how you say it and this is how you spell it. And I'm like, that's fine. Okay, we'll readdress this in a few years and then I'm
Yeah,
sure
when
you'll
you get
realise.
there. Yeah.
But he's like, no, this is how you spell mummy. I'm like, okay, sure, you're fine. You do it. But yeah,
There you go.
I
That
like,
innocence.
I struggle with kid books and I've done well recently. I've read Last House on Needless Street. I managed that.
Oh, that's a hard book to get through generally. I mean,
It is.
that's a hard book when you've got kids or not. That's really a
Yeah,
tough read.
it is, but again, it's how it's handled by. I'm
Mm.
realizing it's how it's handled by an author. I think if an author knows the gravity of what they're doing and realizes how upsetting this can be, like the way
Yes.
I was reading Last House on Needless Street, thinking, depending how this book ends, I could hate it or I could love it, and I ended up loving it because the ending fit for me and the ending kind of elevated how I was feeling.
I think
Um,
there's a big push at the moment. I find in a lot of horror, not just trad horror, but indie horror. A lot of it is there's sometimes supernatural elements to it, or creatures in it, or something. But the real horror is the people. The real horror is other humans,
I wonder
and
if that's a bit of a reflection of how people are feeling, isn't it? And
I think
like,
so,
well,
because you do feel, and I think it's the first time in a long time people feel unsafe. Do you know? And it's it's that kind of, this could actually happen, and that's what's the scary thing, right?
And I
Not
think social
not what
media,
the demon
I've
can
noticed,
do.
yeah, I've noticed recently the way people talk to each other. You know, like when you just hear conversations,
Oh, so disrespectful. What's wrong
and
with
almost
people?
it's almost like people talk like an internet troll now
Mm,
sometimes because they're seeing it all the time and they're reading it, and if they're talking like it, they're probably posting it as well. And I've really noticed, like, you know, certainly the last couple of years, and I don't know, it's some of this COVID that there's been a bit of a social interruption, that
I
some people
think
had some time of not being socialized and not being
possibly.
around others.
I mean, I think that's probably exacerbated, but I think it comes from above. I think if you have, we're not going to get political, but
Oh yeah.
if you have leaders in power who don't really care about people and actually try, all they're doing is turning you on each other. I think you've had this real kind of diatribe recently, especially in the last year, where it's, you know, it's such a group's fault. It's such a group's fault. Instead of turning it upwards and saying, actually, what about the very rich people? Why aren't they paying? Then they're turning you on each other. And I think that's been very evident. And you see it a lot, especially on TikTok. I've come off TikTok. I find it really depressing. I find it quite toxic and dark at the moment. And I don't.
Yeah,
Mm,
I've sometimes made the mistake of, you know, when people do a rant video, if you watch it for too long, you end up getting sent loads of them. And luckily,
yes,
at the moment, I'm managing to flick them on fast. I'm getting mainly Buffy because it's what I'm posting and it's what
I'll get mainly
I'm
books, but every
engaging with.
now and then, do you know, I'll get pulled into some drama. I don't want. I don't go on social media for drama. I don't want drama. I don't want drama in my life. I want a simple life. And
Well, I
yeah,
think social media can be beautiful. I was talking to, I was as I was teaching, I was doing some stuff on internet safety. Like the internet can be
yeah,
portrayed as this scary place, but actually, I've met some of my best friends on social
me too.
media, and
Me
people
too.
like you, we wouldn't have met. We live at
No,
opposite ends of England. We wouldn't have met if not for social media, and then
no,
met in real life. And I just think the
no.
power of those connections, because we've actually chosen each other, we've sought each other. It's not just, you know, a friendship of necessity of, oh, we live next door, or we live down the road, or we
Yeah,
grew up together. We've actually chosen our internet friends, and I think that that's really powerful. But then I think the flip side of that is the trolls can also choose. I'm getting a lot of weird comments on my Buffy content, things like leave your doors unlocked and I'll come and have that. And I think, I know it's a joke, but it's quite
makes you
aggressive.
uncomfortable, doesn't it? It's
Yeah.
uncomfortable, and I think, you know, not only for your own safety but for your families, it's kind of that kind of weird.
Yeah.
And
Well, like if a
it's
friend
too
said it,
it's too
yeah.
personal. But you, a
Yeah.
friend
Like
wouldn't.
if I said, oh, Sharon, you know, I like the look of that. Just don't turn your back when I'm in your room. That's different because I know you and it's a
But doing it
joke.
like this, but a real friend wouldn't post that on
No,
a public forum. You know what I
no, they
mean?
wouldn't.
So
Yeah,
it's
they'd chat to you about it in person.
yeah, exactly. It's just I just find it really. I'm just like, people just seem so unhappy.
I've
People
noticed
just
that. It's
seem
really
so
strange.
unhappy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I
I'm
think
hoping.
that's very sad. It's a sad state of affairs, really.
It is. I think summer helps, like when people can get out in fresh air and do things,
Yeah,
and even when money's tight, you can go out in, you know, a public space. You can go for a walk. I think I always feel better in summer, so I'm hoping for,
yeah.
as an uptick of weather, that we might get kind of an uptick of feeling, because there does seem to be a bit of a feeling of people being a bit downtrodden or a
And
lot downtrodden.
you know, I very carefully curate my pages. It's harder to do on TikTok, I think. Instagram is really easy to curate, and I only see posts from people I want to see posts from,
Yeah.
and on Facebook. But TikTok's harder because every now and then they'll just throw something in the algorithm.
Yeah.
So yeah, I find that more difficult to curate than the others, I think.
Yeah. Same with Twitter or X or whatever it's called now. I don't
X
go
is
on there.
just, oh my God,
Yeah.
it's so toxic. And Threads is becoming the same. Threads used to be so much more wholesome, and that's becoming infected with X, really, or Twitter. I can't stand
Thread
Twitter.
seems to be have a moan, I've noticed. Like
Yeah,
whenever, you know, you get a little link sometimes on Instagram and I think, oh, I'll click that. And then it's just a thread of somebody ranting. And I'm sure
moaning.
not everybody does that, but it lends itself to that. It's like a long form way of writing, isn't it? And for some people, that's a long form air you use.
And I think also a lot of people feel, you know, like nobody listens to them and they feel disenfranchised. And so yelling into the void of the internet is their way of expressing themselves. And so, you know, it's just you have to be careful what you let in. Do you know what I mean? You got to be
Do you
careful
know
what you let
what?
into your brain.
I think that's perfect in terms of people in real life, people, as I'm getting slightly older, you know,
Yeah.
I'm starting to think I'm actually start curating negative behaviour online or in person. I'm just
Oh,
disengaging from it.
I don't.
Like,
An instant block for me. They don't even get a second chance. The first time they comment anything that I find is inappropriate or rude, they're blocked. No, because
yeah.
I want to protect my peace. I don't. I just want to witch on about books. Let's be
Well,
honest.
this is it. And as soon as somebody's negative, that isn't what you're about. You're the very opposite of that. So for
Yeah.
somebody to come into your lovely positive space and do that, it seems like they're trying to chip away at your happy and your loveliness, and it's just not fair.
And they don't. I don't get a lot of it, if I'm honest. I don't get a lot, man. And if I do, all my friends pile in, and they soon disappear. So it's kind of, you are protected by your tribe, aren't you?
Yeah, I don't get much. I think the better a post does, sometimes the worse it is. It's almost
Yeah,
like,
if it
oh,
goes a
if you
bit
start,
viral.
yeah, like TikTok particularly, if you get a few more views, all of a sudden you do get some strange comments because it's gone more wide. Whereas I think your normal content, if it just goes to your little circle, then you do get nice comments.
I have to say that I know that it was a real problem for the Americans, but it was lovely on TikTok when they got shut down. I started seeing so much more content from European people, from English people that I'd never seen before. And that was quite nice, really. You forget. I mean, it's awful for them, but it was quite nice to be able to see some more, because a lot of my content comes from Americans, and so that was nice. Although I'm glad they've got it back, bless them.
Yeah, it was, and for some people, it's like their livelihood disappeared overnight and they didn't know if they were ever going to get it back. And it was only obviously down for a short time, but I think it was to try and make a point, wasn't it? It was very political. It was, we have the power to take this away from you.
And that's why you should never rely on social media. I don't do ads. I don't do creator fund, even though I could. I don't do it because it's not something I want to ever rely on.
Yeah, same here. The only thing I promote about is same as you. If I'm sent a book, I will. That's a different kind of promotion, isn't it? And I will always stay if I remember that I've been sent this book.
I always say it. If somebody sent me a book, or somebody sent me an arc, somebody sent me this, but always say that they haven't asked me to say anything. I would never take something I was told I had to.
Yeah.
I don't get PR stuff from people who ever demand anything from me. So yeah.
I've never had demands. I know some people have got in bother for doing paid posts and actually being told what to say. I've never had anybody ask me to do that. The only things I've had are occasionally like challenges. So for CJ Tudor's book.
Yes, well, can you do a video just to show what this meant to you? But even then, it was kind of, if you don't do it, you just don't get the other book. They'd already sent you the arc. If you want to get a proper copy of the book, if you could do this, we'll send you a copy. But they didn't demand it. You didn't have to do it. That's the only one I've had, I think.
Yeah, and that felt quite nice, like we were being invited to a club.
It was fun.
This, yeah,
and I would do it anyway to advertise because the book was sent to me. I would have done that anyway. So it was just a nice way of. And actually, she must be due another one soon. What's she doing? She needs to crack on.
I interviewed her when The Gathering came out, and it's been a while. So
I loved your interview with her, Amy. It was fantastic.
Do you know what? I used to think that if somebody was really successful and I really admired them, that they were going to be an intimidating person. But she was so down to earth, so cool. We chatted for hours afterwards. In the end, I was like, I'm really sorry, I've taken about 4 hours out of your day. Should we do this in real life at some point?
She's like that. She's like that online as well. If you ever post any of her stuff online, or if you comment on her, she always answers.
Yeah,
and she just seems like a really genuinely nice woman. But it's been a couple of years, hasn't it, since The Gathering?
Yeah, I do think we got the proof really early though, and that sometimes skews my thinking. I don't know. Like sometimes I think it's a bit like, for example, a friend just messaged me today, and her book comes out next April, and she said they're starting to gather interest for proofs, and I'm like, whoa, 11 months before.
I got a proof the other day. It's an e-arc, actually. They sent it me because they did offer me I rarely take physical copies because I prefer my Kindle reading, and it's not out till March next year.
Yeah.
I'm like, when do I read that? Because
I hadn't even finished my book that comes out in September.
It's like, how do I can't read that now because by March I'm going to have forgot what I was thinking about. So I'm not going to read that till next year. So then I've got to remember that I've got to do it. I have a list of arcs when they due out.
That's a good idea.
And I don't take that many, and I only beta read for 2 authors. And so I only take ones I know I'm going to like. I
Yeah,
don't just, even from traditional publishers,
yeah.
sometimes they'll contact me, say, we've got this book, and I'm like, sorry, that's just not my genre, but I'd recommend this, and this creator. But I don't take them just for the sake of it. It's only if I know I'm going to like them.
I used to think I had to say yes almost and like feel
Yeah.
grateful. So I'd say yes. And then I'd get this fluffy YA rom-com, which would be lovely for some readers. And I've kind of not reading that much stuff like that now. So I'm trying to be really discerning. And when I get, especially when I get a blurb request, sometimes I get a blurb request and it's like
Yeah.
a book about something happens to a child and it's all about grief. And I'm like, I'm really sorry, but you've chosen the wrong person.
No,
And I
no.
got sent one once and it was from an author that I sort of vaguely knew. But when I read the blurb, I was like, oh, they should have asked me. This is a wasted copy because it just wasn't. It
Not for
wasn't for
you.
me. It was about all things like self-harm and stuff like that. And I can't read things like that.
No.
So I always
Most
feel
of
sad when
mine,
publishers send me things like that because I think that is a missed opportunity that could have gone somewhere
from
else if
somebody
they'd asked
who
me
would have
first.
really enjoyed it. Most of our stuff comes from indie authors. I do get occasionally get stuff from traditional publishers, but they don't do a lot of horror. Let's be honest, horrors is getting a bit more popular, but
You
it's
know
not.
what? Titan are doing really good things at the moment. I'm
I
really
get quite a lot
excited.
from Titan. Titan
Yeah.
got in contact with me the other day for something or other, and but yeah, they do some great horror, and they do it, and there's a lot of really good YA horror.
Mm.
That seems to be really. I got this lovely package the other day. They're from Joey Powler's Mad Axe Media, and he does these.
All right.
It's an indie company, and they do this Totally Freak series. It's like a modern take on Goose or like Fear Street or Point Horror. And I read their first one last year, which was great. It was set in the 80s about possession. These girls party, and one of them gets possessed. It was brilliant. And he contacted me, he says, do you want a copy of the next one? It's out in June. And I said, yeah, here's my email. He says, no, I'll send you a physical copy. I said, no, you're in America. It's too expensive. He went, no, I'll get it printed in the UK. Anyway, he sent me that one and the one that's due out for Halloween. And
Amazing.
I'll show you, but they just, this one.
Oh, I need to get those. I've seen you. I think I saw you talking about the first one
But they're
last
just,
year.
you can see them, they're like the same size as Point Horror books. And it's just it's proper nostalgic. This is set in the 80s. I think the second one, The Gorman's House, is set in Halloween 1999.
Oh,
And they
amazing.
proper have that kind of nostalgic feel. And they're not all, and they're like Point Horror, they're different authors. And they're all mostly indie authors. And just, mostly adult indie who are tipping their toes into YA, which is usually the other way, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's quite interesting, really.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get one of those. That sounds exactly my thing. I think more and more I'm seeking these kind of escapist
It's such
books, like
fun.
things that are
That
fun.
one last year was brilliant. It's like a fever dream of a pink cover, right? This girl floating. You know that stiff as a thing. Was it stiff? Light as a feather,
Light
stiff
as
as
a
a board.
feather, stiff as a
So
board.
they do
Yeah.
that, and one of the girls gets possessed. But anyway, and the other two of the other girls get thrown into a catalogue. Do you remember those old fashion catalogues in the 80s and 90s? They get thrown into it like it's a real world. It's kind of like Take on Me by a-ha, right? They're in this cartoon world. It's brilliant. Absolutely
That sounds
fantastic.
amazing. I'm gonna have to look those up. That's
Fun.
the book of the day that I'm gonna treat myself to after the stream. Right,
Hi,
let's go to
Stephen. We've been
Hi.
chatting for half an hour. Look, so it's been a
Yeah, I
while, hasn't it,
know.
love?
It
It's been
just
a
I
while.
suddenly thought, well, little person just came walking past being carried by his daddy, so I need to find out what that's about as well. Just gone in that direction. So they've obviously got some plan
Hi,
afoot.
Lily.
Hi, Lily. Oh, Washington State. I haven't been there
Lovely.
for ages,
Neither have
Lily.
I. It's been years since I've been to Washington.
We went and did the whole Twilight. We went to the beaches and we walked through the, rainforest. And
Never
it,
read Twilight, never watched it.
I think you probably wouldn't like it, Sharon, to be honest.
It's all the romantic, sparkly thing. That as soon as I heard about that, I was like, no, it's not me, is it?
I watered it today, darling. Thank you. So did you look at the apples? Oh,
Who's worried about your apples?
Well, so we've planted an apple tree a couple of years ago and I managed his expectations and said, look, these things don't always take. We haven't got a lot of room for it. The soil around us isn't great. So I tried to explain to him it might not grow. And he was like, fine. And it's got tiny little apples on it. And Kev's obviously just told him, so they've had to go and look. I'm not very good at gardening. I really try. I've
I'm
planted loads
rubbish
of
too.
veggies. Oh, nothing's happened at all.
I'm rubbish. Now go to the grocery store and get your
Well, I
stuff.
just really wanted to be this like garden witch that had a herb garden, and my friend is like that. And oh, you'd love her, Sharon Nancy. You need to meet her at some point. She's called Lindsay, and she's fabulous. And she's got this garden that's she's gradually adding to, and it's full of herbs that you can make tea with and herbs that you can cook with.
I
It's
can grow
absolutely.
herbs.
I can't
But
grow. I've got 3 sad little pots of herbs at the minute that I'm trying to get to flourish, and they're just not really.
the best thing to do for kids as well is things like radishes.
Yeah.
Radishes and spring onions are the easiest thing to grow in kids' gardens, little kids' gardens, supposedly. I mean, but I can grow herbs and stuff. I grow my own herbs and things, make my own teas. I made dandelion tea today. And but yeah, that's the only thing I can grow. That's it. That's my limit. Anything that's got a flower on it, no chance. It's dead in my house or
Yeah,
outside.
I did really well planting veggies last year, and I did the same thing this year, and nothing has happened. But what I can't remember is how long it took. I might be being impatient and wanting them to grow up faster than they actually will.
Well, it might be a bit early in it because we've had really nice weather early in the year, love. So it might
Yeah.
be. It might be maybe June or July. So give it a bit of time. But
I'm just wondering if
some years they don't take. My neighbour next door's got an allotment in their garden, right? And they're professional
yeah.
growers of things. And sometimes they'll plant something and it just doesn't work that year. It just doesn't work. So it might not be you, it might be the plant or the ground.
That's what I'll say. It must just be the conditions. It's nothing to do with
It's
the
the
garden.
conditions. Yeah, the conditions.
Oh,
Never
this
take
sounds
responsibility. Secluded cabin, sleep 6. That sounds like a horror.
It does. That sounds good.
Love your
Oh,
profile
Stephen.
picture, by the way, Lily. It's just beautiful. That with the girl with the big. Isn't that
Yeah, it's
beautiful?
fab.
Gorgeous.
Lovely. You're lucky, Stephen. You've got the sun. I mean,
Me too. Or not now. It's getting dark, but
the title of the book I'm reading is The Twisted Ones by T. Kingfisher, and it's really good. It is a woman who's gone to clean her recently deceased grandma's house, which wouldn't always be my cup of tea because it could be sad, but this woman is described as such, I think battle axe is the only word I can describe. She sounds like a really, really unpleasant grandma, like a kind of Roald Dahl grandma. And she's cleaning this house, and strange things are starting to happen, and she's starting to hear things and find things. And there's all this mystery. There's a bit of mixed media. It's really, really good. My first T. Kingfisher, and I've already ordered more from the library because it's just so
she's
good.
very good.
Oh, snap! T. Kingfisher books in the library. That
What
sounds
she's going to
interesting.
call is wonderful. Yeah, it's very good. Very magical.
I've got another one come. That's I've just had an email. I'm trying to use my library more, and I often find they haven't got the horror authors that I want, but they've got loads of T. Kingfisher. So I'm working my way through T. Kingfisher.
I think it's a shame
Oh,
I
dear.
don't like audio because I can't get to my library and they don't deliver. So
Oh,
that's the
do they not?
problem.
That's a shame.
Because
My
obviously
grandma and granddad used to get large print book deliveries from the library, and the
my nan
librarians,
did
bless
too.
it.
Yeah.
Oh, they would
They
go through and get the large print ones out for them. It was amazing.
used to do a mobile one that would come round to the because I live in an area that's quite elderly people. I'm not I'm quite old now, but it's my disability that's the problem. But yeah, so it's a shame really. But they do audiobooks you could loan, but I can't read. I can't read that way. I just fall asleep.
Oh, hello. Nice to see you. Oh my goodness.
Hello,
Some of the
Claire.
CJ Tudor fans. Hello, Claire. Welcome.
We
You're
love
in good
CJ
company.
Tudor. CJ Tudor stands over here. We love her.
We are, and she's a lovely human as well. If you're interested, I did an interview with her on YouTube a little while ago, and she was the best interviewee. She was so honest and frank about her writing process. It was brilliant.
And your Mickey's really cute too. I love it. Are you wearing Mickey ears? It's Mickey ears, isn't it?
Yeah,
Thinking
I think
about
so.
Disney. Yeah.
Instant friends here. You haven't seen my Mickey ears collection, Claire. I've got quite a few pairs. I'm just saying to Sharon that I've booked a holiday this summer, so we're off to Florida. Oh, amazing. Yeah,
Yeah.
another mommy. I mean, being a mommy and then hearing that there's another mommy living in this house is just like
It was the way
proper chill
it's the way her
factor.
eyes keep moving. So sometimes her eyes are on the top and sometimes they're on the bottom, and you're like, what?
Yeah. And she just but grows in power. Like she seems quite kind of distant to begin with, and then she just gets closer and closer to
And
the
then she's little, and then she's big, and then she's pretending
oh,
to be her mother, and it's just a
yeah.
really scary kind of.
You just made the hairs come up on my arm in
Yeah,
memory of that, Sharon.
yeah.
Do you know what? It's so interesting, Caroline. I think I need to finish it to form a judgment, but I think it is the treatment of the women that I'm finding hard,
It's
just because of
traumatic.
just
But I
because
think
of what I'm
because also you've actually experienced birth. I have two stepsons, but I've never given birth, and I think that you know how awful it can be anyway, and not to have any support and just be treated like you're nothing, and
Well, there's that.
allowed to suffer all the pain because
Yeah,
they think you deserve it.
allowed to
It's
suffer.
just
And the whole kind of point of childbirth is, for me, it wasn't a great experience, but I got
yeah,
Nathan at the end of it, and I
yeah,
got, the newest member of my family, and that's why you go through what you do, and for them to go through all of that, to be
for
treated
nothing.
so badly,
Yeah.
and then the baby's taken away, it's really hard. I'm finding
It's
it difficult to
traumatic.
read.
If I can understand why, as a mom, you would find that difficult.
And I
Honestly,
went to Grady's event talking about it, and he was sensational. If you ever get to see him speak, oh
I
my
just love
goodness.
him. I just love him. I would have loved to have gone. I would have loved
He,
if he'd have come near me. I'd have gone.
yeah, he spoke for an hour doing like a one-man show that was funny, informative. I mean, I've read a lot about witchcraft and he taught me stuff. I said to him afterwards, you know things about witches I don't know. I'm really, really impressed. Because normally I go to stuff like that and I sit there thinking, oh, I know this, or I go to vampire talks and I know it. So when
Yeah.
I hear people who were so knowledgeable and so funny, and he brought up pictures of modern witches and pictures of historical witches, it was just absolutely epic. Hello,
Yeah, I was so
hello.
glad Shelley got. I was so glad Shelley got to meet him.
Yeah, I
Because
know.
they've had a couple of lives, haven't they? Where he's
Yeah,
been on
they
the
have.
book
They've got one
club. So
coming up
that's
on
just
Sunday.
yeah. Is it a week on Sunday? We've got The
Oh,
Shining this week.
week on Sunday. Yeah, I've
Yeah,
lost all track
because
of time.
he did the first Caroline Bacon one
Yeah,
last year. So yeah, and he's a fun guest. So I can imagine he's
yeah,
really funny. Lynn.
he's brilliant. I need to finish How to Sell a Haunted House. I DNF'd it because I was finding it too sad at the beginning. It's a lot about grief, and people have said to me it gets really good at a certain point, and I think I was about 10 pages away from the bit where it kicks in.
And I think also because there's grief and there's a child in it, that's difficult. But actually, nothing happens bad to the child. Just so you know, spoiler, but nothing
Yeah,
does.
thank you. Well, the difficult thing for me was that the mother is, again, the clearing out the house scenario that seems to be in horror a
Yeah,
lot.
yeah,
And
yeah.
she's separated from a child, and I found
And
that
he's terrible.
hard.
Yeah, she found, yeah, she does. She finds that really, really difficult.
Yeah,
But
so
it
I
is
read.
very good. And the puppets are really. I mean, it's really creepy.
That's
Yeah,
what I really want to get to. I think I literally DNF'd it just before it kicked off, so I probably need to just push on a little more, be brave, and then get to read the good stuff.
yeah,
Yeah, I really liked My Best Friend's Exorcism, and I also
yeah.
really enjoyed Horror Store and Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires. I thought they were really good.
The only one I didn't like was the final girl support group. It's the only one
Yeah,
I
I
didn't
read.
like, and I didn't
Yeah,
hate it. It was a 3-star read for me,
yeah,
but I just it was just it was the I just it was just so kind of typical of other. It was just too tropey for me. I
yeah.
think,
I think
yeah,
that was deliberately what he was exploring, wasn't it? The kind of
yeah,
final
and it was just
girls.
too. It just tipped over too much into parody for me
Yeah,
a little bit. Yeah.
yeah. I thought that one was decent, but I can't remember anything about it, so that's
Well, there
probably a
you
bit of a
go.
sign.
See, I mean, Horror Store, I loved funny. He has this wonderfully camp style of writing, and but it's this humour but real horror,
Yeah,
and it's quite unique. I think it's quite unique in that. I really love is it Sell Your Souls or Save Our
yeah.
Souls?
That one was good. I read that on
I
my
loved that
Kindle.
one, and that was
Yeah,
he never writes the same thing twice.
no,
Every single
definitely not.
one. You wouldn't say, "Oh, if somebody says to you, what does Grady Hendry write?" You're like, "Well, horror." But what genre? Well, all of them.
Yeah.
He never writes the same thing twice, and that's what I think I love his writing because I'm never sure I'm going to get.
Yes, and that is good. And I think the ability to reinvent as an author is really powerful because not
Yeah,
everybody can get away with that.
I'm excited for
Ah,
yours. It's not long, is it? September.
yes, I
And I'll be
know.
retired then. So the day
You
it
will.
arrives, I can read it,
Oh
even
my
if it's the
goodness.
middle of the week.
Well, I am at the final stages of editing now. I've seen the typeset. I've done my first check of the typeset. So I think I'll get one more check of it and then that's it. It'll go away to be printed.
Oh, I'm looking forward to seeing your proofs, darling, because the
Oh,
cover's so
well,
beautiful.
they're not. Well, they talked to me about that. They're not doing proofs because we've all agreed we love the cover. So it
It's
seems
gorgeous,
silly. It seems silly
gorgeous.
to print a different cover on the book when
No,
we just want it. So what they're doing is just early finish copies, and I'm like, I'm fine with that
ah,
because I'd rather it have that cover.
it's
Um,
just a gorgeous cover. I'm so
I
looking
hope
forward
it
to seeing
gets a
your
special
take on.
edition. I'd love to see it with sprayed edges.
Well,
I,
so would I. I mean, I've already pre-ordered it on Amazon, but I am keeping an eye on Waterstones
well,
just in case.
apparently the meet. I won't say too much. I don't know how secret this is, but apparently those meetings haven't happened yet. So
So I always keep an eye on Waterstones just in case,
yeah,
and then
because I
I
was
just cancel
surprised.
Amazon because Amazon I know it's going to come the day it comes out.
Yeah.
Whereas Waterstones it doesn't necessarily.
Well, thing is, and I get the Amazon thing completely because they give you a good deal as well, don't they? That you'll get it for the cheapest price that it's been in all the time. So if it's ever gone on offer, you'll get it for that price.
But
So
usually what I do is I switch it. So what I'll do is when if you get a special edition anywhere or you do your own or you do one and I'll buy it from you, then I'll cancel the book but order the Kindle.
yeah, well,
So
that's
then I have the
lovely.
Kindle. Yeah, so because I tend to read it on a Kindle and then keep the book if I can get it on Kindle.
That's what my mum does. She doesn't ever read
Yeah.
my physical books. She reads them on the Kindle, but
I've
then
done
she'll
that
buy
with
the book.
all of you, apart from Mina and the Cult, because you sent me an early copy, so
Yeah.
I couldn't get that, and I couldn't wait, so I had to read that. But the others, I read them all on Kindle. I've never touched the original copies. I much prefer it. I read quicker, and
Yeah,
I
I
can
do
read
as
it
well.
anywhere. I can read it in bed. I can read, it's just easy. So yeah, so that's what I tend to do. But I'd love to, yeah. Oh, imagine what the sprayed edges would be, darling.
I'm just manifesting that at some point I'd love a special edition. If it's not this book, fair enough, whatever the universe has planned, but I'd really love
Yeah.
it. I think it would be very, very exciting.
I might just paint one. I might just buy a few and paint one for you.
Oh, thank you. That would be epic. Somebody did a lovely Instagrammer whose name's just gone out of my head. Jess, I think she was called, did a stamped edge edition. So she stamped some bats onto the purple
I
bats
saw
onto
them.
book
Yeah.
2 and red bats onto book 1, and that was really lovely. That was just like just a
Yeah,
one-off for me, but
I agree with you, Kat. It's just too much drama, but I've got a lot of
yeah.
friends on TikTok, so I don't want to come off. I first started talking about books towards the end of the pandemic. I've only been online probably a couple of years, and I've got some really wonderful friends on TikTok. In fact, one of them is the one I'm going to the wedding in July, and so I don't want to come off. I just don't. I only go on my friends' pages.
That's me on Facebook. I literally don't. Occasionally I post really big book news on there because I think actually there's probably people who want to know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But I generally don't because I do some weird stuff on there, and so yeah, no drama. Claire is good. Yeah, isn't it nice?
Yeah.
The online community is the best community.
Because they love, you love the same things. You've already got something in common before
Yes,
you ever even
exactly.
meet these people or connect with these people. You've already got something in common. You both love books, so you've already got something that you can talk about. I've made the most wonderful, wonderful friends on social
Yeah.
media who have been since I lost my husband. They've kept me going. Honestly, some of them, yeah.
Oh, that's what you need, isn't it? Friends who are actually there for you through every part
They
of your
contact
life.
me all the time. They contact me. They're still in contact now. It's been over a year, and most of them still contact me every other day or every weekend, just see if I'm all right. Do you want to chat? I still occasionally get just random gifts. I was just thinking of you, and I just wanted to send this.
Oh,
And it's usually like a
really
little
lovely.
forget-me-not or a little angel or something, and it's just so thoughtful. Just so thoughtful.
This is Lisa Unger Books. In case anyone's wondering, we need to push Lisa Unger up our TBR.
Yes, yes. Yes.
Oh, do you know what? Picking things that are ready sounds like the best thing to do, Lily. Like, I think
Honestly,
so The Burning Girls is really good. We also, Sharon and I love The Gathering, her vampire book.
she gets better and better.
The only one I haven't read is the child abduction one, but I've read all the others.
Now that one,
The Taking
strangely
of Annie
enough,
Thorne.
The Other People is called that one,
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's actually aside, apart from when The Gathering came out and The Drift also is fantastic because you don't realise what's happening until right at the end, really. And
Do you know
so
what? I've not read that one either.
it's fantastic because there's these like 3 threads going on, 3 different groups of people, and the ending is absolutely spectacular. But before those 2, The Other People was my favourite read of hers, and I understand why you don't like it because it was a child abduction. It starts with a child abduction, and it's terrifying, but it's such a good book. It's
Tried
such a
reading
good
it. I thought it's C.J. Tudor. I'm going to try, and it was so
No,
scary that I had to
you
not.
wait till he's older, and then you can read
Yeah,
it.
do you
Then
know
it's
what? When
brilliant.
he's 18, I'm going to binge Pet Sematary and all the things. But
I could get away with Pet Sematary because although it does have a child death in it, as everybody knows, he's quite famous. The kid, when he comes back, you really want to kill him again, to be fair.
well, this is it. Maybe if I could get to that point, I'd be okay. The problem was in the original version, it just looked too much like the little person who lives here, and I was like, I absolutely can't.
No. And he's very different
It's
in
like
the book.
every parent's worst nightmare at the beginning of that film. It's just terrible.
Oh,
Amazing. That's lovely that so I do a lot of writing on here, and in fact I'll be writing tonight, and it's really motivating, I think, to find people who are trying to do, because I'm writing a book at the minute that hasn't got a book deal or anything. I'm just writing it for the fun, and hopefully we'll get a book deal at the end of it, and we're kind of all in this together. It's hard. I was chatting to an author about it the other day, and
light on.
she was just saying how grateful she was that I'd helped with something, and I was like, look, writing books is hard. Trying to get them published is even harder.
No,
So let's just do what we can for each other. Literally,
good
it's a
luck,
hard
my
job to be in.
darling.
Yes, they are.
That's why we love him, I think.
Thank you so much. That's really kind.
We love Mina. I'm mourning Mina. I'm hoping at some point I can convince her to write 10 years' time this happens.
Do you know what? I would love as well, if anybody's read the 3rd book, 2 of the characters, Cafferty, who's a police officer, and a vampire character, go off together, and you don't really get to see what happens. And I'd love to write that.
Cafferty was one of my favourite characters in the Mina books.
I think
just loved him.
He's more relatable to us, isn't he? Because he's closer to our age. I think he's like the adult in a world of crazy kids, and he's just like, can you just stop?
Yeah, what happened to them? Like, what are they doing? What are they doing? Have they got their own supernatural agency now where they're stalking people and getting rid of otherworldly menaces?
Honestly, I
in
think
my
they
head,
are.
that's what they're doing. Yeah.
That's what I like about finishing a series, and the reason I finished it where I did is I like the fact that they've gone off into the sunset now and they're doing their own thing, and occasionally I do think about what they might be doing.
In like 10 years' time, darling, you just think, oh, like, what they do. Let's go and revisit and see what they're doing now. What are they doing? What's Mina doing in 10 years?
I know what book 4 would be, but it isn't the right time to write it. No. So I just need to sit on it and see, because I don't know whether UConn would want it. Maybe they would, maybe they wouldn't. But at the moment, I'm not feeling that itch. There's other things that I need to write first. So
you just need to leave them a bit.
Yeah. Let them sit, and if you get to the point where you can't stop thinking about it, that's when you've got to write the next one. Yes, I do. I need to mention that actually to my publishers. I need to see if they.
Yeah, the works are doing some fantastic spread edges, and I've got a works here, so I could get that. So that'd be great. It's easier than Waterstones.
Yes, I mean, it's so delayed. Is this my new Mina book, or I don't know where we are? Sorry,
your fantasy book is so delayed. No, just it'll come when it's time, my darling.
Oh, your fantasy book. Yeah, it literally, especially if you're not, if you're under contract or you're under some kind of pressure, then that's a different thing. But if you're self-publishing or if you are just writing it for yourself, you've just got to take your time. I'm writing a book that I'm finding really, really fun, but I got really stuck near the end. About 3/4 way through. I do this every time. And I've just left it for a little bit, and I've gone back to the beginning, and I'm just editing and doing the stuff. And the ending now has started to write itself in my head. So I'm like, by the time I've edited the first 3/4, the ending should be ready. So it's not a linear process for any of us. Just, be kind to yourself, soulless, because honestly, it's creativity. You can't force it. It's not linear. You just got to do the best you can with it and love what you're doing. Try and enjoy it, because that's why we all started it initially, even if it gets a bit.
Stories are like fine wine. Sometimes they need a little bit longer in the brain before they actually get corked. So
I can't write a book. Yeah, the minute I've thought of it, I can't do it. I had a really good idea last year, and I've still not written it because it's not ready yet. It needs
it's still cooking. It's the weirdo metaphor from Buffy, is it not?
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
just not ready. You're still cooking. It's still dough.
Yep. And at some point it'll be a little scary monster cookie at some point.
Oh,
But
if everybody knew, we love Buffy, so there may be a lot of Buffy references coming up.
yeah, just a few. Grady Hendrix and Buffy and CJ Tudor references. Right. Let's do a sprint just to prove to the new
Yeah.
people here that we do sprints.
We do a
sometimes.
sprint, although I need another cup of tea, so I'm going to do that before I start sprinting. But
Yeah.
let's go.
I haven't had a cup of tea today. I had a cup of matcha this morning, and I've not had a cup of proper English tea all day.
Call yourself British. What's going on?
I've been teaching, so I've done the thing that teachers do. I drank that much water, stuffed a sandwich down my face, might have gone
Yeah,
to the
sure.
toilet half the time, some point of the day. So yeah, I've done my teaching day. So
You need a
this
cup
is
of
why I look a
tea.
bit frazzled.
You need
Yeah, I do.
a nice struck cup of Yorkshire tea. That's what I'm going to have, and I'm in Devon.
I'm gonna have an Earl Grey actually, a decaf Earl Grey.
I do love an Earl Grey.
Clipper decaf Earl Grey. I really like because it tastes like proper Earl Grey. It doesn't taste like decaf tea. That's my tip of the day. Right, let's do a sprint. We'll see you on this. Hello, hello.
Hello, hello.
That was an eventful sprint. I feel like I did loads in 40 minutes. Like, really productive.
Yeah, I went to made a cup of tea, and then of course the cats started crying because I haven't fed them for an hour, so they're starving to death.
Yeah, of course they are.
So then I had to deal with them, and then I had to have cuddles. So yeah, it was fine though. It was fine.
Well, I started editing and then realised that I wanted to ask Alex Fowkes something because one of the things the book is about is something Alex knows a lot about. So I was like, Alex. So I had a nice little chat with Alex about my book and about her book that she's working on, and then
Oh,
go
I
back to
love
my book.
Alex. Alex hasn't been on for ages, has she, Bab?
No, I need to get sorted. And same with
I
Ashlyn.
love her.
Like,
You need to get the A team on her, and I
I
and
know.
Ashlyn.
And do you
Been
remember when we had
ages.
Annalise once and there were 4 of
Yeah,
us?
the quadruple A's. Yeah,
Crazy.
I love
Yeah, so I
Alex.
had one of those sprints where I was like, I could have spent the whole thing chatting to Alex, but I did that in between actually working. I'm writing note cards at the minute. I nearly showed you what it's called then. I don't want to, I don't like talking. I've got my little note card.
Good for you.
So I'm
Whatever
writing a
works.
summary. I'm writing a summary of it to try and figure out if it's in the right order, and some of it absolutely not. In my outline, I've written Lisa looks really pleased about it at one point. Don't know who Lisa is.
Oh, the mystery Lisa.
I've not.
Mm.
That's what I said to Alex as well. I was like, Alex, do you know who Lisa is? Because I don't mention her the whole book, and she's just in my outline. Lisa looks really pleased when something bad happens. She sounds like a right cow, to be honest.
She does.
Oh, I don't know who she is, and I wonder if it's. I don't know if she's in the book or if she's just in the outline. I wonder if I thought I could do with an antagonist, apparently called my
Lisa.
sister-in-law's name.
Yeah,
My
yeah.
sister-in-law's lovely. She doesn't
It's
need.
my sister-in-law's called Lisa too.
Is she really? That's so funny. So yeah, so that was maybe I was chatting to Lisa and I wrote that and didn't actually mean that there was Lisa in the book. It's possible. But now I'm thinking, should there be a Lisa? Like, am I missing some antagonistic opportunity for some horrible girl called Lisa?
I use like note, you know, the cards in the plastic containers.
Mm.
So all of, because I've got this whole series I've written, you know.
Oh,
I'd say it was middle grade pretty much, and it's kind of like about these, you know, time traveling aliens, different sorts of aliens, and it's really good fun. And I've written it since I was 12. I've got 11 books now.
are you going to do
Um,
anything with them,
I
Sharon? I
don't
feel
know.
like
I might
you might
do
have
when
some
I've
time now.
retired. When I've retired, I might look at them again. And but yeah, but it's really good fun. But they're all on those note cards, so I get the continuity right for each book.
That's
Yeah.
clever. I don't know whether I've ever told you. I wrote a series, well, series. It was an individual book about a family. Oh, I flip-flopped what they were called, but they were little aliens and they had fuzzy bodies and long skin. And I drew them myself, long skinny legs and these long gangly arms. And there was a baby, an older sibling who I think were me and my brother basically, and this
Yeah.
mummy and daddy alien. And I lost it, and I was so good. It was one of those. I've got quite a lot of my childhood writing, and I don't have that, and I'm really
Oh,
sad about it because
mine is like a boarding school because I loved boarding school. You know, I loved Enid Blyton's like Mallory Towers. I
yeah.
loved boarding schools. So it starts in a boarding school and it's all different aliens. So there's some humans, there's some aliens, but they're all pretty humanoid looking, but different characterizations. And they find a gem that allows them to travel through time and solve mysteries.
That sounds amazing.
It's good fun. It's really good fun.
That's a good premise for a middle grade series because it's like new
Yeah.
mystery per book, isn't it?
Yeah.
Overarching, like Quantum Leap, but for kids.
And it's the same 4 kids. Originally, I was going to do 5, like the famous 5, but then I really loved the adventure series by Enid Blyton. There was only 4 kids, so I changed it to 4, 2 boys and 2 boys and 2 girls. Although, you know, they're aliens, you're not quite sure what they are. But it's great fun. It's good. I get them out and read them sometimes, and they just make me smile because I remember what was happening when I wrote them, you know. And poems, I've got thousands of poems.
I do feel like that might be a really good, you know, like sometimes when people retire, my dad did this, he retired and was like, oh, what do I do now? Like, you're going to have to find, like, what is your new structure and what is your new, like, focus? It's exciting.
I'm going to do some, I think I'm going to get my scooter soon so that I can get out and about. and they do quite a lot of adult courses down at a community centre downtown. And so I've got a real fancy to do flower arranging, not
Oh,
something for,
amazing.
not something for education, because I've already got a couple of PhDs. I don't need any anymore. And what am I going to use them for, right? But I quite fancy doing something like practical. I mean, flower arranging. I fancy trying pottery, and like things like creative things, So that's
Do you
what I
know, that's
fancy
exactly
doing.
what my grandma sort of, I don't know that she retired or whether she didn't really work. She passed away a long time ago, one of my grandmas. And she, in her older age, all of us, I mean, much older than you, started doing all kinds of classes, and she learned how to send you a picture of some of her artwork. She did this most incredible artwork. She did these pastels and paintings and embroidery. Absolutely amazing. I think a lot of my creativity probably came from
Comes
her,
from
but
her.
I was a
Yeah.
teenager when she died, so I didn't get to know her as well as my other grandparents. And it's kind of sad, isn't it, sometimes when you realise latterly
Yeah.
like a missed opportunity.
You don't realise at
Um
the time, but I do. I paint, I draw, I do pastels, I do oil painting, I make my own jewellery, I make my own resin things, I do paper crafting, I do knitting, sewing, crocheting, embroidery. I do all of those things. I just fancy trying something different,
so the
right?
problem won't be how to fill your days, it'll be choosing which thing to do, won't
Well,
it?
everybody's like, "What are you going to do when you?" And I'm like, for the first couple of months, not doing it. I've got the wedding, and then I've got my next book convention, the indie horror chapter book convention, which is in Weston-super-Mare in September. So, and then I probably won't do anything the rest of this year. I'm just going to have a rest.
I
But
think you deserve one.
yeah, I've worked since I had my first job when I was 11, and I've worked full time since I was 16. So 40 years I've worked full time. I've never been out of work, never. Even when I was traveling, I was working. So yeah, so I'm looking forward to just kind of deciding what I'm going to do, and I might get a little part-time job. I might do. Do you know what I mean? So I might do something online or something. See how I feel, really.
My granddad worked for the local authority, and he took early retirement at 59. Like people could do back in the day, like they actually offered that as a retirement age,
Yeah,
59.
he's 50, he's
Um,
55 now. I'm
yeah,
taking early retirement due to ill health at 55, and I work
yeah.
for a
Well,
local authority. Yeah,
yeah. Oh, I wonder if it's a similar thing because that was
yeah.
sort of an option back then. And he then spent the next 30 odd years as a gardener, like doing gardens for stately
Mm.
homes and stuff. And he loved it. And suddenly his passion became his job. And it was lovely to see that, like somebody finding a totally new avenue of work and, a way of being.
Yeah, I just want to have time to do creative stuff like online. I really want to do more YouTube stuff. I want to do things like this, like reading sprints, but in like the daytime.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I'd love to do. I can't really do that when I'm working, but I'd love to do that kind of stuff. Do you know? And so yeah, just more of that really. I think it's going to be fun. So
It's going to be great. I think it'll really suit you. I definitely, when we first met, I think that you was like, I could see you were still in the zone with work. And lately,
yeah,
have you felt it just like not becoming feeling like you anymore?
I think that. There's a lot of changes in the last year for me, and it makes you kind of reassess what you need to do. And also
Yeah.
I'm having a lot of problems with my mobility. That it's getting a little bit better because I'm working on it with a physiotherapist.
Oh, good.
But and it's just, yeah, I don't. Do you know, I'm in a fortunate position that I don't really need to. Do you know, sadly, you take out insurance to cover you in the eventuality of losing your partner, don't you?
Yeah.
So everything is paid. So, no mortgage, nothing like that. So I'm in a very fortunate, I realise, fortunately privileged position that I wouldn't be wealthy, but I can survive on what I've got coming in with pensions
And the
and
thing
stuff.
is, you've been through a lot. You deserve to be able to
Yeah.
spend some time on you and doing what you
Yeah.
want to do. I'm really
I
pleased
think
for
you
you. I think
just
that's amazing.
realise life is short, and
Yeah.
sometimes, life you need to adjust it to what you do. I'm just done. I think you just get to a point in a job when you're just done. I'm just done. You know?
That's good. And you've got the ability to leave it, so, get out of
Yeah,
that.
and I'm leaving well because I love the team. The last team
Yeah.
I work for a local authority, but I've changed jobs several times in the last 16 years. But I'm leaving on. I love the team. I love the team I manage. I absolutely love them. So I'm leaving. It's just right for me. It's the right time for me.
Yeah.
There's no animosities. I'm leaving
That's
really. Yeah.
a nice way to leave a job. Not many people
Yeah.
I think often people leave a job because it's, the situation's
Yeah.
deteriorating.
I mean, the situation is deteriorating. There's no doubt about that. But like for a lot of councils, it's very difficult to keep. Yeah, everybody needs more money.
If you're still here, Ash, I think we've confused Ash. You wondered why we weren't talking, if you're still here, or they. If you're still here, Ash, we were doing reading
A
sprints.
reading sprint.
I remember when I first saw reading sprints, I didn't know why people were being silent. So we were reading for a little while, and then we do some chat in between. If you're still here and we haven't put you off with the silence, I think they were probably
Sorry
sitting there
about
thinking,
that, love.
"Is my TV on?" Oh, that sounds
Oh,
good. No Place Left to Hide. A bit of a thriller there, maybe. Is it
yeah, I
Nicole?
don't recognise that name at all.
Excellent,
Well
Claire.
done. Yeah,
Very
I'm nearly.
productive.
I've got about 40 pages to go.
Oh, you'll finish that today, Sharon, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I'm jumping through and I think the same comments come up twice, that's all. Oh, rereading it. That's bold, Rosie, because I haven't managed to pick it up yet because it's so big, isn't it? I keep looking at it and going, nah.
Somebody bought me a copy of it because it was one of the first book fairies I ever got. Somebody sent me a copy of it. I mean, it's a weapon. I mean, you could actually take someone out with it. But I did manage to get a 99p Kindle deal. So I got it on my Kindle and it didn't seem so bad reading on my Kindle. Do you know what I mean? Like holding the book that size is hard.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
If you fall asleep holding it, you give yourself a concussion, wouldn't you?
And I enjoyed it. I mean, I'm not much of a fantasy person. I tend to like either high fantasy, like Lord of the Rings kind of fantasy, or humorous fantasy, like the Discworld. So, but I quite enjoyed it. I think it was the original one with dragons, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think I would enjoy it. I'm just intimidated by the length of it because I'm generally quite a slow reader at the moment. And yeah, I think it might take me 3 years to read it.
You read quicker on a Kindle, I do. I mean, it only took me a couple of days to read it. It's about 900 and some pages. But once you get into the story, to begin with, it can be quite slow because of the world building. But once you get into the story, I think it actually flows really quickly.
Oh, does it? See, I think I
don't
read
ever
the first
listen to the audio book of it because the audio is terrible.
Oh.
It really makes or break. The narrator make or break an audible book, I find. And it's just not the right narrator for that book.
Yeah, did you see the stuff about Audible using AI narrators? So there's been an announcement that Audible are going to start using AI narrators for audiobooks, and then the reaction from the book community has been absolutely not. And I just
you'd be able to tell. Surely you'd be able to tell. You can
just be like listening to a robot, wouldn't it?
I think that as humans, we instinctively know when somebody's was an actual person or when it's something electronic. We instinctively know, don't we? I just think why would you pay for that? Why would you pay for an Audible credit for a computer to talk at you?
No,
you could basically, all of us have got a program. If we've got Word documents or if we have Windows on our computers, we can already do that. You can load a book in and press audio dictation. It'll read it to you. Why would we pay for that? That's crackers.
Yeah, I really don't like it. I think that it's kind of this beginning of the end thing, isn't it? I saw on ITV, they were really proud to announce this AI presenter, and I was like, yeah, you're laughing about it and enjoying it now, but when ITV fire you all and have 3 AI presenters there.
Has nobody watched The Matrix? I mean, really? Come on. Do you know, I just think, no.
Well, Terminator warned us about this how long ago, didn't it?
And the thing is, it's crazy to me because when I think about AI and robotics, I think they're there to aid us. I want a robot who will do my washing. I don't want them writing my stories.
Exactly. And
do you
want
know
a
what I
robot
mean?
give somebody the use of a hand, or to give somebody
Yeah,
mobility in
something
another way,
exactly, and that's and
bring
a
their
lot of that.
eyesight back or
A
something.
lot of that is in use, to help people with prosthetics and stuff. That's wonderful. I don't need it writing my books. I want people to write my books.
Yeah, we need to
Um,
preserve art, otherwise we're going to end up with a point where there'll be no plays. There'll just be a screen with AI characters on it. It's just
I'll probably be dead by then, so it'll be after me probably. But I just know it's disturbing to me. It's disturbing.
yeah.
Why are you trying to suck all the creativity out of the world? That's
Well,
just
I mean, I wouldn't wish bad business on the company, but I do hope that they get some backlash from it where they can actually take
yeah.
a step and think, actually, we need to protect narrators' jobs. We need to protect our readers. Like, give some credit to our readers that
Yeah.
they actually deserve a rich, like when I think of stuff like episode 13, where it's a full cast and
Oh,
it's
it's
so skilled
fantastic. Now,
and
those are the
incredible.
audibles I can listen to, by the way.
Yeah.
The ones that have a full cast, I love them. If it's just one person reading it, they don't read quick enough for me, even at 3 times speed. So that's the problem I've got. And also, I see little movies as I'm reading. So if somebody's talking, it's just weird. That's why I can't read graphic novels. My brain gets all confused because I've got pictures, and the pictures are different from the ones in my head.
Yeah, it's just,
I
it's
just
sad,
like
but
it's
anyway.
like AI covers. It's the same thing, isn't it? It's like AI writing a book. It's just no. It's hard enough job being an author as it is, as you know yourself,
Exactly.
without
Well,
competing
I
with a
found out
computer.
my stuff's on Meta as well. They've stolen my books and uploaded them to train their AI. So the AI that they want to replace us as authors is being trained on the books they've stolen.
Every author I know has got. Sometimes all of their books have been taken.
Yeah, I think all of mine are on there.
I don't know an author at all, either indie or trad, who hasn't had their work stolen. I mean, that's shocking. How are they allowed to do that?
Because the law, I think, hasn't caught up with how fast it's moving. So I think the AI and the capability has moved and the law hasn't caught up. And that's what I think places like Society of Authors are trying to bring the law in line, and they're bringing actions. And in the US, there's groups of authors doing class actions and things. So
So they
hopefully,
should. I mean, you couldn't walk into the silliness of it. If you walked into a bookshop and stole a book, you'd be charged with a criminal act.
yeah, you
If
would.
I went online and downloaded a pirated copy, I'd be charged with as a criminal act. How's this any different? I feel so angered for you all, really.
It's because it's a massive corporation. They are rich enough to
yeah,
squash
yeah.
the small. They can squash the small people who complain, but if enough small people complain and enough, people can band together and do class actions, it can create change, but it's just too slow for the technology at the moment.
I think that the mistake they made really was going after big authors. So you've got like really real authors who actually make a living from being authors and actually have a lot of power. They've used their stuff too. So that's where the pressure's going to come from, right? Or
It is because these are the people who can get in newspapers.
Yeah, all of Stephen King's are on there about most of his stuff. Do you know what I mean? He's got a lot of power as a writer. So those are the ones who hopefully will be able to do something to push it.
Yeah, and then they can hopefully get these things. I mean, I do know of websites in the past that have had my stuff on that I've reported, and enough of us have reported them that they have been shut down. But Meta is so big that
I mean, I don't know many authors, even ones that do it for a living, who make a fortune. It's like, come on, do you know what I mean?
Well, people like Maggie Stiefvater talked publicly, who wrote the Raven Boys series, about how her deal after the Raven Boys was significantly lower. And she and her publisher, Underage, and everybody knew she was getting really heavily pirated. So thousands of people were reading her books. So all of them attributed to a drop in sales of her new series to piracy.
Oh.
And they were trying to pull them down, but as fast as they could pull them down, more were springing up. So, it's costing people their livelihoods.
Yeah.
And
Apart
readers
from the
say
fact
it's because they...
it's not even that. It's just such a violation. This is your story. Now, when you release it into the world, other people get to have a say on it, but it's your story. It's just such a personal thing to steal from someone.
When somebody's worked so hard on it for often years of their life.
Sometimes for years, exactly. And they're not, and most authors, I don't know any authors actually that do it because they want to get the money. Authors do it because they've got no other way. They can't help themselves. They're compelled to write.
Yeah, exactly.
Nobody does it to become a millionaire because there's so few of them who make that.
Oh yeah, I mean, I know one person, you know, in my professional circle of all the authors I've met who's got a seven-figure deal. One, you know,
That's rare,
seven-figure.
isn't it? It's a
Yeah,
rare
it is.
thing.
It's one. She's probably the one of our generation of authors, and that's fine. You know, she's done really
Yeah.
well. But
I did see, by the way, that Kendara Blake's just got another deal, hasn't she?
she
Is
has.
it a trilogy?
I'm not sure
Quite
it's a
feeling
trilogy
it's
or
a
a
trilogy
duology. I can't
or a
remember. I remember
duology. Yeah, fantasy one.
she's
I saw that.
she's one of those people, Kendara. I'm so pleased because again, absolutely lovely human
Me
being,
too.
really
She's
down to
lovely.
earth, really, you know, amps up other authors and pumps people up and, you know, uses her platform to talk about other people's books. And yeah, she's continuing to just keep getting really good
And
deals
she's a
and she
great
does it full
writer. She
time.
writes really beautifully. So
She does.
yes, I was really pleased. I'm always pleased when people, you know, I always makes me happy when that.
Yeah, achieving their dreams and doing what they want to do.
Yeah, why not? Why not?
Right. I
Life
think,
should be fun.
well, yeah, exactly. I think it's getting late, so let's just do one more sprint if that's all right with you, Sharon. And then we'll have a chat at the end and wrap things up. So I'm going to mute us and then we will see you on the other side. Oh, that's it.
Oh,
We've
no.
done. How'd you get on?
I just have got a couple of pages left. I had a phone call in the middle of that.
Oh,
So,
no. Oh, just the last bit. Let me know what you think of the ending.
yes, it's good, isn't it? It's getting all exciting now. So, yeah, it's like I've got about 2 or 3 pages left.
Amazing. Yeah, it is one of those horror books that sort of ends with a big bah, 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 and then you
Yeah,
get to the end and you're like, oh, I want
hang
more.
on. Yeah, I'm feeling that. I'm feeling that. But
Yeah, we've started watching The Capture, which has got Holiday Granger in. I really like her. It's so I haven't seen it before, but it was announced that they're making a third season of it, and I was like, third season? I haven't heard of season 1 or 2. So we've just gone and dug up. It's on Netflix, I think. Season 1. I'm enjoying it. It's not. I don't really watch procedural dramas that much unless I'm really
yeah.
invested in the characters, and I do like it.
Yeah, I haven't watched a lot really. I'm looking forward to Wednesday, the second series of Wednesday. I'm looking forward to
Yes.
Prom Queen, which is out next week, isn't it?
Yeah.
And so yeah, I tend to watch films. I'm not good with I'm not good with book series, so I'm not good with television series either. I just lose interest halfway through.
I think if they're really compelling and they're grabbing me, like we started rewatching Lost and season 1, I was absolutely hooked. It was like I
Yeah,
could have just watched hours on end. But yeah, I'm the same. I've started season 2 and I'm like, oh, this is still good, but I can feel myself by season 3 it'll be just okay. And then before I know it, I'll have given up.
yeah, they should have ended at season 3. Season 3 is the last decent season, in
Well,
my
it was meant
opinion.
originally, J.J. Abrams picked it as a 2-season arc, apparently, and it did so
Yeah,
well that they extended it. And I just think that he obviously had a story for 2
yeah,
seasons
the
and
first 2
it
seasons,
shows.
and the third one's okay, but I could have happily stopped at the second season. But
Yeah.
after that, it just gets ridiculous, and I still haven't
Well,
forgiven him.
they knew the ending they were building up to, I think, from the beginning. So that
Yeah,
ending could have happened at any point. So
yeah, yeah. But yeah, so I don't tend to watch a lot of series. I often find you get like 8 or 10 episodes, and the first few are great, and the last few are great, and the ones in the middle are just me. You know what I
mm,
mean? And I'm
yeah.
just like, why didn't they just make it 4 episodes and cut out the bit that's rubbish?
Yeah, I quite like a series that's got slightly longer episodes but less of them. I think that
Yeah,
suits me quite. It's like a mini film each time you watch an episode.
it's like I watched that the Palmer one with the tsunami, and that was
All right,
3
I haven't seen that.
episodes, 3-hour long episodes, and that was really good. Really enjoyed that. And yeah, so but yeah, I get bored. I get bored. I've got a very short attention span unless I'm reading.
Yeah. I'm like that with reading, though, to be fair. I don't know whether it's because nowadays I have to read in short bursts. I do tend to read a few
Yeah,
pages of book and then I move on. Even when I'm on my own, I read a few pages. And because I have got so many like mini jobs now, I do a quick read and then it's like, right, move on to the next job, move on to the next job.
I've got several books on the go at the same time, but if I get into a book, I'll just sit and read through.
Yeah.
I won't
Just finish
move.
it.
Yeah. So it depends. That's why I like short story collections and anthologies and stuff, because I can read a story and then do something and read a
Yeah.
story, and I quite like that as well. So, but
Have you read
yeah,
Cameron Cheney's? You've read Autumn Crow, haven't you?
I love Autumn Crow.
Yeah, I
Yes,
thought you
I
did.
did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking of getting a physical copy of it. I got it on my Kindle, but they're doing a really nice illustrated copy, which is really pretty, and I quite fancy that. But yeah, I'm like, "Oh, I've already read it, you know. But I think I'd probably pick it up again around Halloween. It's proper,
Yeah.
has that
I
kind of
read it.
vibe.
Yeah, I read it maybe 2 or 3 Halloweens ago, so I think I am due a reread this Halloween. I like to
Yeah,
leave ones like that a little like I think I've forgotten enough about it now.
yeah, me too. I've got one to read in a bit, which is an indie anthology all about bugs. It's
Oh no.
different horror
My
stories
friend
about
Mia's really
bugs.
scared of bugs, so I think you should be able to read none of those. She had to skip the bit in
So
my anthology story about bugs.
it looks really fun. So I think it's going to be, yeah. Was it good? This World Belongs to Us, an anthology of horror stories about bugs.
I quite like a bug story.
So yeah, it's like illustrated as well. So there's like illustrations at the beginning of each
Oh,
chapter and
cool.
stuff. So
I like
yeah, and
illustrations.
it's such a nice font in this. This is an American copy, obviously, but it's just such a. Do you know what I mean? You know what I mean, don't you? Sometimes you pick a book up and you think, "Oh, that's a nice font."
I do like a font.
Me too.
My Dracula one has got a really I don't know what font it is, but it
Yeah.
reads just really nice and smoothly. When I first opened it, I was like, oh, this is nice. Because I do like the Mina
Oh.
font as well, and it's slightly different from the Mina font, but I still like this.
Yeah, I don't know if I told you, but we're hoping to bring the indie horror book chapter to Whitby
Oh yeah, I'll definitely come if it's a bit. I mean,
at
it's still
some
not mega
point.
close to me, but
It might not be next year, it might be the year. We're planning on definitely coming up that way. So
Whitby
I would,
Bookshop is fantastic.
I'd love just to go to it. I mean, I went several years ago now to the Goth Weekend. It was probably one of the first few they did, and it was good fun. But it's such a pretty place. Such a
Yeah,
pretty
it's
place.
lovely. We all like it. Like my whole family, we kind of gravitate. I've been saying to Kev, I'm getting the itch to go back again, and they've got my book in the Abbey now, so
Have they?
I need to go and yeah. Somebody sent me a picture. Like I've been kind of seeing like Alex's books in there and Harriet Muncaster's books in there, and I think they've got like Amelia Fang and stuff. And I was like, oh, my book could fit in here. And I did go and talk to them, so I don't know whether it had any sway, but I went and chatted to the person, and she happened to be a person who had some pull. And then yeah, then they eventually turned up. So yeah,
I
they've
mean,
got
they
a nice
should
little
do. I
caravan.
mean, is Whitby classed as Yorkshire?
Yeah, Whitby's North Yorkshire.
I
Yeah,
mean,
and me
why wouldn't they be selling an author that
Yorkshire
comes from
author.
Yorkshire? That just
I
crackers
mean,
to me.
Mina and Livy are from Whitby as well, and it's only briefly mentioned, but it is mentioned in the book.
Yeah.
And then I'm hoping my Dracula retelling they might pick up, although I chose not to set it in Whitby just because I wanted to set it somewhere different. So it's set in Edinburgh,
Edinburgh,
which
though,
has
has very much links, doesn't it, to Dracula, though, Edinburgh, I think.
yeah, similarly spooky vibes, I think, as well.
Yeah. I love Edinburgh. It's one of my favourite cities. And
Yeah, I've
yeah,
always
so,
liked it.
yeah, it's good. I can't wait. It's going to be good for. Won't be long. It's not long now,
And
is
it's
it?
coming way too fast because it needs printing and everything to go out
Oh,
to
but it
read.
won't take long. It won't take long
Yeah,
to do
it
that.
doesn't. And I think author copies are going to be going out fairly soon, which will be ebooks. And I think they're just doing ebooks for authors, just so they can blurb it. And then any other early copies will be physical, and then that'll be it. The book will come out, and that's
There it is, and we'll all have it in our hands, all have it in
well,
our
that.
little donnies, and we'll all be reading
Yeah.
it.
And that day, Kat Ellis's new book comes out, and Cynthia
Well,
Murphy's comes out same day.
and they both Cats. I haven't seen Cynthia's, but I've seen Cats. That looks fantastic, actually.
It
Is it
was.
the
You will
is it
like
the
it.
devouring light? Is it?
Yeah, you'll
It
really
looks.
like it.
It looks gothicy to me. That one.
Yeah, a band have a bus accident and they end up walking through the swamp and finding a house. And it's really, even talking about it's making me feel all shivery. It's really chilling and really
I love
suspenseful.
Cats. I love Cats writing, like a lot like Dawn. You know, they have that kind of really. They just seem to know about creepiness. And there's
That
always
they
like a
do.
vibe, a gothic vibe to it, which I really like. So I've pre-ordered
Yeah.
that one actually as well. I've only got 3 pre-orders. I've got yours, Cats, and the new R.F. Kuang one. That's the only. Oh, and the new Thursday Murder Club from Richard Osman, because I love them.
You're good at keeping track. I tend to just be surprised by pre-orders. They just turn up and I'm like, oh yeah, I had a pre-order of that. And then I normally get 2 or 3.
I rarely pre-order unless it's a special thing or it's somebody I know, and so I don't tend to really. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to all of them. So it's going to be fun.
Yeah, it's going to be a good autumn season for reading, I think. Well,
Yeah.
it's nearly my bedtime, so I'm going to sign off. The comments have
Okay.
gone quiet, I think. So, is anybody?
Bye. Night, everybody. Thank you for joining
thanks
us.
for coming on. Yeah, thank you for coming on, people in the comments. Thank you, Sharon, as always.
Yeah,
It's been
anytime.
delightful. And we'll catch up with you soon.
Bye, everyone. Take care.